What was the most porno situation you've ever had? Not safe for work.
One that I still kick myself for. I work as a gardener, so I'm halfway there already, but at one of my former sites, there was an older woman who lived there. She was late 40s early 50s, but had aged like a fine wine, great body, lovely face, and an attractive personality that made you feel easy around her. She'd jokingly flirt all of the time, to which, to then 21-year-old me had me real hot under the collars. One day I was using some rope for a job, when she asked if I could help her move something heavy in her apartment, me being the guy, that I am agreed, so I went into her apartment with the rope still in hand, moved the stuff for her and she took notice of my rope, crossed her wrists over and said,
"Oh. Is that for me, sir?"
or something like that, whilst giving me now what I now know as, the look. I chuckled but left the apartment, where I immediately realized that I had an opportunity to playfully ramp up the flirting and see where it went. I was young and inexperienced, but in hindsight she all but handed me a condom, and I used it as a balloon to float away instead.
Amen, poetically, wonderfully descriptive of a young man's ignorance. I share your pain with a very similar tale. I was a young, clueless and horny 20-something, working in a small computer shop that did house calls. There was this lady that fits your description, that would often call us, saying her computer did something odd. I'd go there, spend painfully long time trying to figure it out, while the lady flirted me and was often in very provocative clothes. It was only years later I realized her computer had worked just fine.
Sounds like she needed more RAM.
Honestly? Do men really find it that hard to pick up on a woman's signals? I ask this genuinely, lol.
Here's an actual text conversation I had with this girl that was way out of my league, when I was 20 and a virgin, at 2 a.m.
"Hey. I'm getting off soon, you still want to hang?"
Yeah, trying to score some weed. She had mentioned wanting to smoke weed with me.
"That's cool. You want to do it at my place or yours?"
About 10 minutes later.
Whichever, nobody is awake right now, I can't find any weed, still trying.
"No big deal. We can still do it."
Yeah. But I can't find any weed.
"Never mind, I'm getting kind of tired."
For like a year, I was convinced that she just wanted the weed, until I reread the text later and cringed.
"We can still do it."
Come on, that's pretty freaking clear to me as a girl, haha, you had already mentioned, you couldn't find weed.
As a girl, you say. That's the key phrase right there. Us men are far more retarded than you, or too scared of possibly misinterpreting and getting in deep shit for it. It's the retarded one in my case.
Years ago, my parents were not really happy with my sister after she came out as gay, so she wasn't invited to Thanksgiving. To support her, I went to her gay orphan's Thanksgiving with her friends, instead of my parents. While there, I met this woman who I got along with really well, but I figured she was, well, a lesbian. Later, we were washing the dishes, and she says,
"I think we're the only two straight people here."
I go,
I think so.
"Well, I think that means we have to
we did.
Not gonna lie, Gay Orphans Thanksgiving sounds rad, and kudos for supporting your sister. Also, screw your parents for disinviting her from goddamn Thanksgiving."
Nah, he already got with the non-lesbian, no need to screw his parents too.
How do you people get these opportunities to fall in your lap?
The stars aligned.
Step 1. Be attractive. Step 2. Don't be unattractive.
Step 3. Be confident.
Step 4. Don't be picky.
Step 5.
Step 6. Clean off her leg with a towel, while crying and apologizing.
Step 7. Jump out the window.
Not even, I'm overweight and not that great looking of a guy, and even I have found myself in situations like these. It's all about timing, alcohol and having somewhat of a social/outgoing personality. Granted, if you're attractive it'll happen a lot more, but I'm not, and I've had several of these weird encounters over my 40+ year life.
I was watching porn in the living room, when my stepmom walked in. It was nothing like the simulations.
I'm more amazed at the fact that you were watching porn in your living room when your family was home.
To be fair, sometimes you've got to watch the quality content on the big screen.
After watching porn on a 55-inch 4K TV, who can go back? I can see every follicle on a woman's landing strip.
A high school friend's parents were out of town for the weekend, so I was sleeping over at his house. He goes to bed early but I'm not tired, so I'm downstairs watching TV. His sister, about a year younger, comes in and sits on the other side of the couch. I forget what movie we're watching, but there was a fashion show and all the models came out wearing nothing. The sister asks,
"Do guys get hard watching stuff like this?"
I wasn't but started to. When she asked, I was still not exactly a confident high schooler, but she was cute and I felt relaxed around her, so I said something like, "Sometimes, depends, why? Do you get wet?" She giggled but didn't say anything for a moment, then she looked over me and asked if I was hard. I was a little scared that my friend would hear or walk in, but I knew he was upstairs and I was a horny teen, so I said, "Yeah, want to see?" She did, I showed her, got a BJ, ate her out. Good movie. Backstory, I met this girl on Tinder and she, in her profile said, "Dead, as looking for dude friends, nothing romantic." I took this quite literal and we became friends. About 2 weeks after meeting her, she called in a panic and asked me to come over and check her attic, because she was hearing noises from up there. Being the only guy that she was friends with in the area, new grad student, I came over. Naturally, those spooky ghosts left ectoplasm everywhere.
Giggity.
I told her that for future reference if she wanted to she could just ask.
My coworker came to my office and said,
"Come with me."
She starts leading me down to the basement, where there's never any other people. Turns out she just needed me to carry something heavy.
Oof. Better than getting murdered, mate.
I lost my virginity working at a bar because my boss said to me,
"Would you that girl over there?" I said,
"Yeah, for sure."
And he said,
"You're cut, punch out and take her home?"
To which I had to really wonder if he was messing with me, but no, he was not.
Plot twist: boss didn't care about your love life, he just didn't want to pay you overtime.
The boss paid a hooker for the shy boy.
It was the boss's wife and he was sick of her complaints about their sex life.
Second most plausible explanation.
When I worked in a restaurant in college, my kitchen manager would hook me up with the female servers like this.
"Hey, would you bang April?"
"Yeah, sure."
"Great, she's been asking about you, go ask her out, you both have Friday off."
Your kitchen manager's game was on point.
I actually have a ton of great stories about this guy. I actually was out with him one night and he met a lesbian couple. He always talked a big game, so at one point, they look at each other and decide to take him home. Next day I walk into work and he's got his head on the bar, cripplingly hungover. I ask him how it went and he goes,
"Don't ever have a threesome, there's just another girl to disappoint." They laughed me out of that room.
I mean, you're also kind of fighting an uphill battle with the whole lesbian thing too.
For real, you can't expect to satisfy one lesbian, let alone two.
Shut up, kid, you're like 12. Back when I delivered pizza, I was greeted at the door by a woman wearing the skimpiest of clothing, nearly completely see-through. I think she noticed that I was looking at her nipples and she mentioned her and her husband were swingers, asked me to come inside, but my anxious ass declined, so she just took off her top and gave me some cash.
Reading this thread has made me realize how painfully boring my life is.
Well, we have a black leather couch in the office.
My boss had one in his office until we started making vines parodying those types of porns.
That's beautiful. The carpenter renovating my room thought I was gay. I'm a straight guy. We were alone in the house. I finished taking a shower and was only in my towel, and I innocuously analyzed his shirtless torso in all its glory, wondering what routine is he doing in the gym. Maybe I was staring too hard. He then approached me and tried to make out with me. I pushed him and laughed and said no. He said he thought I wanted to have sex with him with all the stares I was giving him. Lesson learned, to be more aware how I'm staring at people.
What routine was he doing?
He was into calisthenics stuff.
The hit on straight guys routine. I was in a bed with 2 girls and a guy all drunk, legit about to have a foursome until I ran out of the room puking and ruined the mood for everyone.
You ruined that other guy's life, mate.
My mom hired a guy to build us a deck and I saw him looking at me through my upstairs window on the first day. He was super hot and Russian, and the idea of us being alone and him working, while I brought him drinks and snacks was so exciting. Me being an 18-year-old, was already sold into the idea of screwing this contractor. We f***ed on the last day of installation. He was a good lay, but the deck turned out like shit.
Good dick, bad deck, well done to you anyhow.
If I've learned anything as a homeowner, it's that the contractor invariably screws you.
When my sister's French exchange student came to the UK to stay with us, after she left university to help improve her English, one night after a few too many drinks she came into the bathroom, while I was having a shower, and everything went way better than expected.
Nice. The foreign exchange student really pumps up the hot factor.
Why, did no one tell me, when I was one?
That's the best part. They don't know how hot they are.
Went to a friend's house party and ended up in a foursome with him, his girlfriend, and one of his girlfriend's girlfriends. I had way too much to drink though, so with that on top of the anxiety about the whole situation, I couldn't perform at all. I'm barely a twosome kind of guy, let alone a foursome, no idea how that whole thing happened. I'm barely a twosome kind of guy.
I'm more of a handsome type of guy.
Was talking with a coworker at my office. I don't even recall what she said, but I responded with, "Ah, you suck." She looked at me slyly and said,
Yes, but do I swallow?
She did.
Just goes to show that attractive girls can use the lamest pickup lines with great success. I invited a girl over to watch movies at my apartment. 30 minutes in, she just turns to me and says,
"Well, I'm surprised we haven't f***ed yet."
That was my cue, folks.
Met a girl through a friend in college. She had a lot of issues with her laptop, so I came over one day and fixed it up for her. She paid me with a blowjob and finished me off on her face. She took a selfie with my phone and I haven't seen or spoken with her much since.
Now you have to frame the picture. I used to work at a restaurant and a colleague of mine slipped, spilling all the drinks over me as I was trying to catch her. Since my boss lived above the restaurant, he offered me to take a shower upstairs to clean myself up. I gladly accepted. However, this was never communicated to his wife, so she thought her husband was in the shower and decided to surprise him. So she snuck into the bathroom. It didn't have a lock, got naked and pulled the shower curtains open in one quick motion while striking a pose. To her surprise, it wasn't her husband that was showering, it was me. I also happened to be facing the shower curtain as she pulled it open. We both froze for a couple seconds and locked eyes. She closed that curtain as fast as she opened it and apologized about 100 times on her way out of the bathroom. I just started laughing when she had left and fully realized what had just happened. I finished my shower, went back downstairs and told my boss what happened. He bursted out laughing and asked if I liked what I saw. I answered with a yes, got a pat on the back and just went back to work. Me and my boss's wife never talked about it, but my boss would sometimes tease his wife with it when only us three were present.
Gotta say, baller move telling him straight up that you liked what you saw, haha.
To be fair though, what could he say?
True, very true, just be like.
Heck no, man. I feel sorry for you, aha. A while back I was doing some physical therapy and walking back and forth in some parallel bars. It was me, my female therapist and a male trainee who was shadowing her for a few weeks. She needed to check that my glutes were properly activating as I walked, and he needed the experience to know what to look for, so I was slowly walking back and forth while they shuffled along behind me, a hand on each of my ass cheeks. The situation was normal/professional enough, until another female therapist walked into the room, and sort of froze in surprise, trying not to laugh. It was hard to deny the ridiculousness of it after that.
And then they fingered you.
Writing prompt, signed, sealed and delivered.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out my other videos. Also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and ring the notification bell.